the toy. What happened? It's not a real potato. It's kind of crazy. No! You guys went to outdoor school during middle school?
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. What were the raisins on? The raisins. That make the raisins answer.
Yeah. What?
It's the raisins that make the raisins so great. There's a skit.
Yeah.
There's like people in trash
Oh
bags that
my
are raisins.
gosh.
And then the spoon comes and they start disappearing.
Yeah. For like the cereal?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
They're like spoon, spoon, and then slowly
No.
the raisins disappear, but they keep chanting, it's the raisins. And then there's only one raisin.
Because the spoon
tall. But now we got it's the potatoes that make the booty calls so great.
Hey there! Now that that's over with, for now anyway, my friends Denise and Esme decided to come out for a trip several months ago. And since I had started this channel, I decided to ask them if they would like to suggest a recipe for us to make while they were here so we could record it. And they decided to pick something that Esme has rightfully nicknamed booty call. So I'm trying to get the actual recipe and the actual Dutch name for it so that way I can give that to you guys. I can give you some proper information. But it's a super simple recipe. It consists of potatoes, kale, a kielbasa, bacon, a little bit of butter, milk, salt, and pepper. So it is a very basic recipe, but oh my goodness, it is delicious. So the part you guys started off watching was us peeling and cutting up the Yukon gold potatoes. Any type of golden potato will work just fine. You want about 2.5 pounds of potatoes for this to replicate the recipe that we're making that you're watching in this video. It easily feeds 4 to 6 people, and you definitely have some leftovers, and I'll share some ideas with that for you too. So now we're cutting up the kale. We've got an equivalent about 2 bunches, which is equal to about 6 to 8 large stems of kale, easily. We have some smaller ones in there as well. And you can't go wrong with having more kale in there or a little bit less, depending on your liking. If you're intimidated by kale, go with like 1 bunch, something like that. So that way you get an introduction to it. But it adds a really nice flavor to it. It's definitely, this is a Dutch comfort food. So Denise is peeling the leaves off the stems because the stems are gross. You don't want that. And then me and Esme are chopping up the kale. You want it super fine. I tested out chopping up kale in a food processor. Worked great. Just don't overcrowd it. And yeah, so some alternatives could definitely be like spinach. I thought of chard, like Swiss chard afterwards. You could definitely try that as well. So yeah, have fun. Do this with your family and friends. So as you can see, we have a fairly large stock pot, and we put the potatoes in the bottom, filled it up with about 1.5 inches of water. You put the kale on top of all that because it has to cook and wilt down. And then we also put the kielbasa on top so that way it would get heated through all the way.
Dutch cooking for you guys.
So next up, I'm doing all the hard work for you guys. It said like 425 grams or 200. I don't know. I don't know how many grams it said. But that's equivalent to about 2/3 of a pound of bacon. The batch that I made just the other night, I used a full pound of bacon. Came out just as good. So use as much bacon. I imagine prosciutto would work just as well. And so Esme is telling me that it has to be cut up into very thin strips. I'm kind of lazy and probably wouldn't do this again. But like 1/4-inch slices.
I know, like
They must have a really good knife for this to be the easiest way for them.
They buy it already.
yeah, it looks like it was already in pieces.
Oh! Okay, so they have that convenience.
Yeah, their meat selection is very nice.
What's wrong with us, US?
So as you can see, we don't get the convenience that Holland has, but I ended up pre-cooking an entire pound of bacon and then I crumbled it up from that point. Worked just as well. And you can, that way you can have some bacon pre-done ahead of time and you don't need to worry about it. But once you're done cutting up all the bacon, you want to cook it in a pan. Drain it onto a piece of paper. And I skipped a bunch of this part because no one really needs to watch bacon cooking in a pan. We all know how that works. So, after a little bit of time, and the magic of editing, that was poor timing. Come on. Come on. There you go. So, there's our nicely cooked bacon strips. And we're going to end up draining those onto a paper towel before adding it to the finished cooking booty call, which once you put it on the stove, turn the heat up to high and let it cook for a good 20 minutes. Make sure everything's all cooked through. And so we take out the kielbasa and then you add the bacon to it. At this point, everything is technically cooked. Now is the mashing part. So you add the bacon, you add salt and pepper. We realized we didn't put enough salt and pepper, which is one of the tragedies of when you don't have measurements. So it is truly to taste, and you can't go wrong with it a little bit on the extra side. And this is the point where you add, in quotes, some butter and milk. So it's really to just add the creaminess. It's like you're making mashed potatoes, but you're adding kale and bacon to it. So it turned out actually really easy. It is super delicious, and I highly, highly recommend you guys try this at home. I'm going to put together a quote recipe, and I'm going to put that in the description box below for you guys. There is no links to a recipe on a website this time because this came from my friends. And so I'm going to cut the kielbasa up into 4 pieces to feed the 4 people. Honestly, you can't go wrong with having extra kielbasa. Walmart has like big giant things. And here you're seeing me plate it before I take a picture. Alright. Is that enough?
Yeah.
And a piece of the sausage, right?
Open wide.
That's good sausage.
There's like all the right flavors in here.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you guys were listing off the ingredients, I'm like, that's it? What?
There's something
Really?
missing.
You sure? No, this is really good comfort food. This would be a good way to be introduced to the kale.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, you could even add more bacon to it, even, and it would still be really good. Like, I can say no more bacon.
I know sometimes it's actually more kale.
Okay.
It's very, very greeny, so very little bacon.
But I understand why it needed to be chopped into such tiny little pieces now.
What is going on?
No, this is really good. I mean, the mash could probably use a little bit more salt, definitely more pepper, but other than that, no, this is great. Yeah.
I really like it.
I know, I do too. I'm gonna have a written recipe that I can generally follow.
You can also chop up the kale beforehand and stick it in the freezer.
Mm.
So you have just bags of chopped kale, and then it actually brings out different flavors of kale.
And
That's
this,
gonna be good.
Yes.
Okay.
no, it's terrible. That's why she's suggesting it.
Well, no, I mean sometimes it's like
This,
frozen vegetables aren't really as good as fresh ones, so.
Well, this sausage has amazing flavor.
Oh, I know. Oh, definitely gonna have to do like. We'll have to try it with different types of kielbasa too, like the multi one that we saw, like the pork, turkey, and whatever else it was that we saw, and then just a straight up turkey one, just to see like how the flavor, like the meat changes the flavor.
I tried a turkey one once, not in this recipe, but it definitely wasn't as flavorful as the beef one.
I believe that. That's for sure. Yeah, this is really good.
It's easy to just put one pot, everything in it.
I know. Because I imagine you could just have like pre-cooked bacon, which we tend to have on hand a lot. Like for your guys' trip, it's weird. Like we've had cooked bacon on hand a lot lately. Heck, I would throw just a whole ton of bacon into this. This is good. I can get behind this as a meal to make all the time during the year.
Yeah, for sure. Nice toasty warm.
At least every
Pretty
couple
cold.
of weeks. It does call your booty to the table. So yeah, I mean, thank you guys for thinking of a really good recipe that comes from Holland, aka what I call Dutchland. No, this is good. I love trying foods from other countries and stuff, so yeah. This is good, you guys.
Yeah, I feel like the European country's not represented really well in foreign foods.
So
You have
usually-
Indian food, you have Chinese food, you have Japanese food, you've got, Thai food. But
And then it's like, what happened to the rest of the countries?
Yeah.
I know a lot of people I've seen in videos when they talk about like Dutch food, like seasoning, salt, and pepper. And that's it. Like they don't do anything else.
Yeah. I mean, for a dish like this, you don't really need anything else. I mean,
The meat has a lot of flavor.
I was gonna say all the
Yeah.
seasoning is in the sausage.
because if you were to try and add any more seasonings to it, it would just kind of make it taste off.
Yeah.
Like, this is a really good, like, classic comfort food type dish. So, I wonder if maybe it would be good with, like, spinach instead of kale as well, for people who just flat out don't like kale, but still want to have, like, that green mixed into it. I think spinach could be a really good option. Maybe cabbage would be really good too. I'm just trying to think of like other alternative type things,
I'm just trying to
because I
see
know
the
that there's some
texture.
people who
Yeah,
really
spinach
just
will be that very not blueberry, but it's very
it does get kind of watery, yeah.
pliable.
I think spinach would represent or be a better substitute for the cabbage. 'cause
No,
cabbage
I
is-
agree, but I can definitely see cabbage in this kind of meal too. You just gotta cut it up fine enough and maybe pre-cook it a little bit, but maybe not actually for how long it all cooked for. I mean, the kale got cooked really well, so. I don't know.
You need a longer sausage.
You should have seen some of them at the store, Mom!
They're big.
The package, I kid you not, was like this big. And it was like loopy.
Oh wow.
It was crazy.
And I was like, do we need more?
It's like it's just the 4 of us, and I'd
Yeah.
rather not have a ton of leftovers.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like that's what we were both thinking.
We
Like,
already had leftovers.
we just got rid of a bunch of leftovers. We don't need more. I mean, there's gonna be some of the mash left over,
Yeah.
but we have some other types of sausages already in the fridge. We just grill a couple of those up, or just cook them real quick, and then add them to
Yeah.
the mash as leftovers. It's super filling too.
Yeah,
Mm.
it is very filling.
Stuff.
It is
Holy
very filling.
moly.
You're like, oh, okay.
No,
You said-
You said you were full.
I said I'm getting full.
You said you're getting stuffed.
I remember
I like
eating
the-
it as a kid and cutting the sausage up into tiny, because the flavor is so there. You can cut it into really small pieces and have it with every bite.
Mhm.
Yeah. I know I was cutting my sausage a little too thick. I had to have a couple bites of mash by itself. So
Yeah, now I'm definitely at the point where I can't. I shouldn't really eat more,
Very
but I want. I'll eat this. There.
Just
take a
little
leaf out of
pieces.
Denise's book.
That had some bacon in it, so that makes it okay.
Yeah.
But yeah. If you guys don't try this, I don't know what's wrong with you.
It's easy and tasty.
It is. It really is. I mean, definitely a little bit more salt and a little bit more pepper. Like, do the mashed part and then taste test it,
Yeah.
and then go in and put more in if you need it. But
Sorry.
that was. Thank
Very
you.
tasty.
I know. Thank you for suggesting that recipe. This is good. This is definitely, really, truly up his alley. More so than mine, but I still really like it. So we'll have to. You guys will have to suggest more Dutch recipes in the future.
Poker chess.
Poker
Yeah.
chess?
Poker chess.
Poker chess?
Poker chess.
That's like what I call spanakopita. I call spanakopita spankakop. Well, this was good, you guys. You should definitely make it like tomorrow. It's super easy and it's really cheap. It was like maybe the whole meal was like $10,
Yeah.
if that, and it easily fed 4 of us. So $2.50 a person plus some leftover mash. You can't really go wrong with that. So.
And what I plan to do, because I'm going to make it for myself, is just split it up into different meal prep. Put it in
Mhm.
containers and just.
Oh yeah,
put it
this would
in
be
the
awesome meal
Yeah.
prep. It's done in an hour and you've got 4 delicious meals. Yeah. Yeah, this is good.